It's me. I'm back, question mark? Not really. I don't know when the next one's going to be, but it is 5 in the morning, and I have nothing better to do until 7, at least. And, I don't know. I watched, Angela over at Literature Science Alliance's new video. She did the Hades book tag that I made, like, forever ago. And I was like, you know, I was gonna do, like, a wrap-up type of thing. And I never did that. So I guess this is what that is. It's not like a wrap-up, like, of a month or anything. It's just gonna be like what I've read recently, and recently includes last year in December, because I have to talk about a book that I have technically talked about, but I don't recommend watching the video I talked about it in, and only like 4 people watched it, I think. Understandably so. It's a mess. But anyway, first I guess we'll get on to the book that I've technically already talked about, but I'm gonna talk about it better because I'm not sleep deprived. Even though I did say it was 5 in the morning, I'm not sleep deprived. I went to sleep really early. And that book is In Memoriam by Alice Wynne. I guess I'll just hold it here, close to my heart, like it is. So this book is a gay World War I book, and everything that I could ask for with my recent hyperfixation on World War I. It follows two characters who one is half German, but he is living in England, and he goes to this fancy boarding school. And him and his like best friend are like definitely gay for each other. And like, yeah, it's like 1914, and his family is like, yo, like, since we're half German, people think like we're like sympathizers with Germany, so you need to join the British Expeditionary Force and show them that they're wrong. And he's like, yeah, I'll do that. Also, I am too in love with my best friend to carry on like this, so the trenches sound like a good plan to me. Although this was 1914, I don't think he knew it was that bad when he enlisted. I digress. But things get, I mean, oh, there's a bookmark. I forgot there was a bookmark in this. I was like, what's falling out? Anyway, the person who's also definitely in love with him, follows him to the trenches. And yeah, it's great. There's like, I guess you could say it's forbidden love. The bookmark fell out. I guess technically it's forbidden love because it's gay men in 1914. But like, I don't know. That is the focus, but it's not the focus, if that makes sense. Like, that is set against, like, World War I, obviously, and, like, their life in World War I, which there is some great, foreshadowing, and some, like, dialogue choices, especially regarding the Battle of the Somme. Spoiler alert for British history, I guess. Battle of the Somme was like the deadliest battle in British history. And one of the characters goes, "We're gonna make history." And I'm just like, oh yes you are, but not the kind you think. Anyway, I need to maybe not be so loud, but I feel like I'm gonna be loud regardless. Sorry, neighbors upstairs. I don't feel like they're in this part of the apartment anyway. But anyway, it's very good. I didn't even mention the character who's half German, is like very into like ancient Greek literature. So like honestly, everything I could have wanted in a book. I highly recommend it if you are not bothered by World War I, I guess, and like the atrocities of said war. Also, audiobooks, fantastic. That's actually how I read it. I just got a physical copy because I loved it so much. And if you do listen to the audiobook, listen to the audiobook with headphones, at least for part of it, because there is a portion where they are like reading like a newspaper, I'll just say, so don't spoil it completely. That's like surround sound, and it's fantastic. Okay, anyway, I read this like last December, and I'm still this excited about it, so read it. I reread Dark Rise, and then I read Dark Air, again, both on audiobook. The audiobook narrator for both of these books and In Memoriam is the same guy. His name is Christian Coulson, and he can do no wrong. Oh, you might be able to hear me better because my obnoxious AC turned off. But also, now I feel like I have to be quieter because the obnoxious AC turned off, and they might be able to hear me now. So if the audio just dramatically shifted, that's why. But anyway, Dark Rise, Dark Air. I feel like you probably know what Dark Rise is about. But if you don't, it's about a person who has like low-key amnesia, I guess. And it takes place in like, I think early 19th century, no, late 19th century. Yeah, like late 19th century, England. And it follows him in his quest because he's having these weird visions of this like fantasy world. And spoiler alert, they're real. It's a historical fantasy. And I don't think I can say much more without giving away the very like good twist at the end. And I also can't say really much about this without doing that. So just, if you wanted better summaries, you could look them up. I will just tell you, this one definitely stood up to a reread. I was just as enthralled the second time, and this one is fantastic, and that it like continues to expand upon the lore and the twists that we established in this book, while also introducing new characters that are super cool to interact with, and also continuing the very, very slow but also very tensiony, like slow burn romance that I'm assuming is going to happen more in the third one. It's like very, there's like some tension in this, but like not a lot. But there's like a lot of tension in this. Like it's so good. But anyway, definitely recommend this series as well. Also definitely recommend the audiobooks. Although there is no cool surround sound, so you don't need headphones for it. The next book I read, I'm pretty sure, was A Power Unbound, which, yeah, you can see it pretty well on the camera. I think this is the Illumicrate fancy copy. It's actually really cool. It has sprayed edges, and then like it's actually like that. That's the cover, and then like this is just plastic. Not like plastic, but like it's like a clear cover. And then the top and bottom are black. Anyway, this is a like, it's technically the final book in a series. The first book is A Marvelous Light, which I might have talked about back in like 2021, I think, is when it came out. And then I forgot to read the second one when it came out. And I reread the did not reread the first one. I just read the second one, and then this one. Actually, I listened to the second one, like, in July? No, August of last year, I think. And then I had to wait for this one to come out. But when it did come out, it was very good. I also think I read it on audiobook, and I think I had to wait for like a month for my library hold of it to come in, because it did not, there was just a lot of people excited for it. Again, I can't tell you much of the plot. It's the third book in a series. I will say there are very spicy scenes in this book that are like different to the other spicy scenes in the first two books, because there are spicy scenes in the first two books as well. But I don't know, this extra spicy, but also the characters in this, I liked them more. I don't know. Maybe I have not reread the first book. But anyway, great series. I remember the first one being really good. And then the second one was okay. I enjoyed it. But I don't think it was as good as the first one. And I know some people, like, really didn't enjoy it. But then this one is worth it. So, it also has a heist in it. It's also historical fantasy. I think it's, like, slightly later than Dark Rise, but still... Oh, no, it's after, it's in the 20s, I think. So it's between World War I and World War II, because one of the main characters in this book was no, I don't think he was a general. Was he a general? I don't know, he fought in World War I, and he has, like, a limp because of it, so we love to see it. So anyway, yes. It's good. If you like obviously I like historical fantasy, and historical fiction in general, but yes. Okay, so I might have read a different book between these two, but honestly, maybe not. And I just realized I do have both of these books physically. I got them very recently as part of Independent Bookstore Day. The first that I read, actually, did I read this one first, and did I read that one first? I think I actually read this one first, so hold on. The first one I think I read, because I was like, oh my god, this sounds amazing, and the audiobook I can get right now was Most Ardently, which, I'll hold up a little bit. The cover is like really, really great. It's part of the Remixed Classics series. This one is Pride and Prejudice, but what if Lizzie was trans? And Darcy was just like a gay man. Same time period, so like it's great. It's written by Gabe Cole. Is it Nova? I think it's just pronounced Nova, but that could be wrong. Anyway, it was a delight. It was so great seeing how, so Oliver is what, like, Lizzie's, like, name is, and so Oliver's, like, always addressed as Oliver in the narrative, but since it is still the appropriate Pride and Prejudice time period, is like, no one except for, I think, the oldest whose name escapes me right now, knows that he's trans. So, like, he gets dead named all the time. But it's really good because the narrative doesn't actually dead name him. It's very, like, much like, yes, he's trans. And then, like, it is just, it's great. It's like good, positive, historical trans representation. And I don't know, it was just also very cute to see, like, the awkwardness. Like Darcy, honestly, is the same person. Like, he's still just very awkward and does not know how to explain his feelings. And, like, Oliver definitely gets, like, weird vibes. So, yeah, it definitely stays pretty true to the original, while also obviously being a remixed classic. So definitely recommend I listened to the audiobook of this too, actually, so it's a good audiobook. I don't think it's the same. No, it's not the same narrator. I don't remember who the narrator is, but they're great. And then the other book, since I liked that one so much, is The Wicked Bargain, same author, and this one is historical fantasy, and it's basically like a non-binary pirate, like, is like trying to, like, you know, survive as a non-binary pirate, but also their dad made a deal with El Diablo, and oh, they also have magic, by the way. Non-binary pirate has magic and also has to conceal their magic too. And so, yeah, there's also a very cute slow burn romance in this. And there's apparently a sequel, which I haven't read, but I mean, I liked this one, so I'll probably read it eventually. But yeah, this was great as well. There might have been another book that I finished on audiobook. Oh, that's what it was. I'm not gonna bother talking about it because I didn't like it that much. If you're wondering what it was Divine Vows. It was okay. I liked the first one for the allegories to World War I. The second one didn't have that as much, so it's fine. If you liked the first one for what it was pitched as, you're gonna like the second one. I just didn't like the first one for what it was pitched as. I liked it for other reasons. Last, and most importantly, because you're probably wondering this if you know anything about me, I don't have it physically yet. But I need to, because the artist who did the dust jackets has a matching dust jacket now. But that's The Sunshine Court, the next book in the All for the Game series. It does follow a different main character's perspective. We do follow Jean instead of Neil. And it actually picks up before the third book ends. So we get to see his perspective of the events that happen in the third book. It's really cool to see his perspective on the, like, last chunk of the third book in All for the Game. It's called King's Men. And I'm not gonna bother explaining the plot of All for the Game to you, because, like, one, you can just look up the Foxhole Court and look at the summary. Two, kinda hard to explain. The best way I explain it is gay murder sports. If you like those three things, you'll like the book, probably. It's also very wild. And honestly, if you're watching this video, I don't assume you're a new person. It's not like I've gained an audience. So you probably already know about it because I never shut up about it. So I'm just gonna continue on with my thoughts. I'm honestly really glad that Nora decided to go back and tell Jean's perspective, because not only do we obviously get Jean's perspective on stories, like story beats we already know, but we also continue on after that into technically kind of story elements we know, but just very vaguely. He transfers to a different school and plays for them. And that's it. That's all we get in the third book. Spoilers, I guess, but that's like, doesn't matter. Anyway, it's really great to see him, like, just have to deal with the new team and, like, how wholesome they are, because they do have a reputation for being, like, the best people in Eggsy, or, like, the best team and most sportsmanlike of the teams in Eggsy. So he's coming from, like, you know, the Ravens, who are, like, very much the opposite. And he also has a lot of trauma. So it is very cool to see how, like, he deals with that and also deals with, like, the new team. And just, yeah, it's also great to see how, like, the captain of the new team, like, tries to accommodate, like, some of the things to make, like, his healing process easier, because there were, like, certain things that he did at, like, as a Raven that, like, weren't super problematic, that the new team captain, Jeremy is his name, like, tries to accommodate to make his transition easier. So it's really nice to see that, and to see him, like, low-key healing, but, like, still very traumatized, and, like, it's not like he transfers and everything's fine kind of thing. And then Neil does show up a few times, obviously, in the part that is the Kingsman. Also later in the book, which is when I realized this book was not going to be just one book, it's going to be two. So very excited for the second one with what was set up in first one. Also just excited to see more of Jean healing, because he deserves it. And I think that's all I can say about it without spoiling anything. Because, like, I don't want to spoil the actual book, and I also don't want to spoil too much about the other series, on the off chance that you do want to read it for some reason, and you haven't already. I don't know. But anyway, if you've read The Sunshine Court, please let me know in the comments. I know at least 2 of you potentially watching this have read it, if not more. So let me know your thoughts if you've read it. I read it on ebook, like, the day it came out. Not the day it came out. I got it the day it came out. I read it in 3 days, including that day. Which I was like, wow, I can still do this. But apparently only for hyperfixations. Because, well, I should mention, well, that's still a hyperfixation. I was gonna be like, I read In Memoriam in, I think, 4 days. Like, I listened to the audiobook in 4 days. One of them was a road trip, but I don't usually listen to audiobooks in the car. And that's actually how I found out about the cool surround sound stuff, because I wasn't listening to it with headphones before that. But anyway, apparently my life now is, if I'm hyperfixated on something, surrounding the book or the book itself, I can finish it in less than a week. And if I'm not, I can still finish it if I'm interested and I have the audiobook and I'm, like, crocheting or something. So, anyway, I might have missed some books, and if I did, I'm sorry. But that is what I've read recently, because it's not really a wrap up. If I read one of the books last December, I don't know when the next one of these will be. I've been playing a lot of Hades 2, but I also don't want to spoil Hades 2 because it's in early access and it's only on the PC, so I don't want to like give away characters in it, because I was like, oh, I could make a Hades 2 tag, but I don't want to like give away characters and like levels that are in it in case people want to save that for when the game actually comes out. And then also, like, I don't think book tags are that much of a thing right now anyway, so I don't know what the next one of these is gonna be. We'll figure it out later. But I hope you enjoyed this wrap up and me rambling about books, because if you're still here, that's why you're here. So I guess I'll see you in the next one.